So you're going to kind of start at the midline here with a straight line and then go down nice and heavy, back up, and then there's also, you start at the baseline, go to the midline, a nice thin line. So all together it looks like this. Just, that is not a very thin line. See, we all still have issues with our strokes. So this line right here, it will connect to the letter before it. That's why that little line is there. Next we have H. So if you notice, this has one of the downward strokes with a loop. So you're going to start the midline, go up to the header line, and then down to the baseline. And then just like with the M and N, you are going to start at the baseline with this compound curve, go up to the midline, back down to the baseline, up to the midline again. So all together it looks like this. But honestly, these letters are all just made up of same kind of strokes. So once you get those down, it's just a matter of combining them together. Okay. I believe the last letter in this section is Y. So kind of like with the X, you're going to have a little line there. You're starting at the midline here. Go down to the baseline, go back up to the midline, and then you're going to do a downward loop, downstroke with a loop. Go down to the lower line, back up to the baseline, and then up to the midline. All together it looks like this. Next, we are going to work on circles. I think this is the last stroke we have here. Basic stroke, anyway. So circles can go in two directions. You have counterclockwise and clockwise. It'll depend on which letter when you use them. So for this one, you're going to start at the midline, go counterclockwise direction, nice hard down loop, and then light loop back up to where you started. For the second kind, you start at the midline and then you make a clockwise circle. So your downstroke to the baseline will be, the heavy line will be on the right, then up to that midline. So a letter where you use that very obviously would be an O. So for an O, you actually don't make quite a whole circle. You start at the midline and you're going to make counterclockwise circle and then kind of stop a little bit short there. Then you're going to add this extra little, it's kind of like a half counterclockwise circle. So all together it will go like this. My hands just got really shaky. Okay. And this little loop will be what connects the O to the next letter. Next letter we're going to cover is an A. Gonna switch colors again because I'm getting tired of orange. It's one nice thing about having a rainbow worth of colors here. Go with purple. So for lowercase a, you're going to make a counterclockwise circle again. Then you're also going to make a downstroke, then up to the midline. So all together it looks like this. Counterclockwise circle, and then you're basically making a lowercase I without the dot. Sorry, there's a little gnat over here. The next letter we're going to do is a lowercase b. So just like the H we have right here, it has this downward stroke with a loop. Start the midline, go the header line, and then all the way down to the baseline. Now this one has the clockwise circle. So we're going to start at the midline, go clockwise, and like that. So all together, that. Well, that's actually not quite right. So it uses something very similar to the stroke, but you're going to start it a little bit differently. I didn't realize I didn't change that one. Okay. So you go up, down, and then you're going to start up. And then instead of finishing the circle, kind of like the O, you're going to make this little loop, and then go up to the midline. I will have to adjust that before I officially release these. Okay, for the D, you're going to make counterclockwise circle, and then you're going to make the downward loop. This one is essentially just lowercase l. All together. Yeah, that's why we test our own products before we release them. Okay, so next we have P. This one, you're going to make another downward loop, but this one's going the opposite direction as the other ones. And then just like the B, where we have this circle, but it kind of stops and turns into a little swish up to the midline here. This midline, baseline, and then that lower line. All together, this is what it looks like. With G, we are going to do another counterclockwise circle. Then, just like the P, a downward loop, and then go up to the midline. We also have Q, which is almost the same as G, but downward loop is going to be more like the F, where you go this direction, stop part way, and then go up. So these next couple letters, they use a modified half circle. So we are going to work on that. The first one is C. So it's going to do a counterclockwise circle, but you're going to start a little below the midline. Go up nice and light, and then down with a nice broad stroke, back up to the midline. Really not too hard. We also have E. So this one, you're going to start about halfway between the midline and the baseline. Go right and then curve up to the midline. Do a nice hard stroke down to the baseline and back up. So kind of like the C, you just took it a little bit farther in the beginning.